I'm Shauna C. Cardwell, a sophomore student at San Francisco State, and this is my documentary entitled The Human Experience. This project was developed out of my American Indian Film Studies class, and with enough background in editing paired with a semester of watching some well-produced films, I was able to get the ball rolling on a piece of my very own. Those interviewed within this piece reflect various backgrounds. Some inspiration for the questions that were asked in this documentary come from some self-reflection. As a Black woman attending a four-year institution and thriving successfully within a diverse environment, I knew this would be an amazing opportunity for people to recognize their own journey. My intention is that my work will allow you to see outside of your everyday bubble, recognizing that people aren't just giant clumps of matter moving around you. Everyone has a unique story to tell. It's just a matter of listening when the time is right. I personally think it's a beautiful thing to exist in such a diverse area. For not everyone to look the same as I do and think like me or even act like me. That is the beauty of free will. That is a part of the human experience.
I'm Olivia Clavero. I'm 18 years old and I'm a freshman.
I'm Byron Cardwell, 20 years old, and I go to UC Berkeley. I am a junior.
My name is Isabel Tellez, and I'm a freshman, and I'm 18.
My name is Mackenzie Stenson. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Martinez, California.
I'm 21 years old. I'm a senior here at SF State.
What does it mean to be a family to you?
I feel like to be a family, it means kind of doing a lot of things within life as one or as a whole. To me, growing up, family meant, everybody would have dinner together at the table. It was never grab your plate and go upstairs and just be away from everyone else. I come from an Italian family, so we always want to do everything together, whether it's going to, places to eat together, or we always invite one another.
I think it means to be loved, supported, and it's not feels like a community, but you feel like you can trust anyone around you.
Family means comfort to me, and it helps me have a community.
Family for me is it's a lot about love and forgiveness. Everybody's family is dysfunctionally functional. Not everybody's always gonna be on the same page, but just having that love and that understanding for one another. At the end of the day, when the lights go black, they got your back.
Family means, it can mean a lot of things. Obviously there's the born-in family that I have, and then since I play softball, I would consider that another family, and then my friends, but obviously my most important family is my blood family.
And what does that family structure look like?
My mom, I can go to her for mostly everything. And my dad is sort of a big support system. He'll support me in anything I do. And my sister, I can just vent to her about the things I can't tell my mom. And my brother, he's just there.
My family to me is interesting, but also at the same time very loving, very sports driven family. We love to talk about a vast range of topics, from science to math to history. So we just are very open family when it comes to knowledge and information.
I would say my family looks like a typical good family. I know that in today's age there's a lot of broken up families, or families that are split up, but I feel I'm very grateful for my family. I have both my parents and both my siblings are all in good health and always been together, and I don't know, I'm just very grateful for them.
I don't think there's a structure when it comes to family, because obviously all families are different. Not everyone looks the same. So I feel as long as you just feel that it's your family, I feel that's all that matters. It doesn't need to have a certain look.
And what does culture mean to you?
My culture gives me pride and helps me feel like I'm a part of something.
Culture is just a way of life, lifestyle, movement. Everywhere that you see, from food to music to clothes, it's culture, it's fashion. So culture is just a way of life.
Culture is again, it could be like different things, but the main thing is like my race and stuff, ethnicity, like being Hispanic and stuff like that, really been embedded into me, like since I was young, like by my grandparents especially, and stuff like that.
My culture means a lot to me, just from the beginning of time to now, just the clothes, food, music, lingo. Just I take pride in it and always finding ways to just better myself and those around me.
How long have your parents been together, if they are?
Oh goodness. I think they just
My parents have been together for 24 years.
My parents have been together roughly 20, at least 20, 22 years.
I don't know specifically how many years. I know their anniversary is when it is, but I don't know how many years.
They dated for a little bit, but been married for probably about 15 of those. So they're about 20, 22 years.
I think my parents have been together for 21 years.
I think they've been together for like 20 or 22 years.
But they've been together since they were like maybe 20. I know before 30. So like after 18 and before 30. So around there. They've been together for a while though.
And how do you feel your childhood experience was impacted by the way that your parents chose to raise you?
I think I was raised in a very positive way with a lot of love and just to be honest and do things the right way. So I feel like that impacted me.
I think it was impacted in a way that they also were raised too. So my father was raised within a Catholic family, and that's the way that I was the first grandchild, so that was the way that I was raised. He wasn't forcing me, wasn't forcing us as kids growing up, but it was something that, as a family, he grew up that way, so it went into how I grew up. And I feel like the way my grandparents raised my parents, they initially kind of taught us as grandchildren, or me at least, the same kind of way. I grew up a lot like my father, and I have small aspects of my mom, and I feel like it could be that way for everybody, and they don't realize it, but I most definitely do, 100%.
I think it kept me very safe from the world in a way. Never really understood till I was in high school, or now even college, with friends their parents split up, or they don't have one of their parents, and how they think and stuff like that. I feel like it kept me very innocent. Didn't really think about how other people really suffer with their families. It just made me really grateful that both of my parents were together.
My childhood experience, I'm very thankful for it. I feel it was probably different from others. Parents were very strict, but as I got older, coming to college and living on my own, I really understand all that discipline that they had on me, and just the countless hours of work and everything. It really paid off, and it really makes me appreciate the effort that they did on their part to raise me to the young man I am today, and just being able to take what I've learned and share it with my teammates or just others that are younger than me.
I was very supported when I was younger, and it helped me get comfortable in being uncomfortable situations. Definitely helped me build a strong relationship with my parents, and also be able to translate that into other relationships as well.
And based off of that, would you raise your children the same? Why or why not?
Mostly, yeah. I think I'd be more lenient, but
I think so, just because I feel like growing up I learned a lot of good lessons, even though some of them may the lessons I learned were from getting in trouble. I feel like a lot of them were good, and I would also want to teach my kids those lessons.
I think yes, and I wouldn't say yes and no, but I would say yes in some things. Maybe I would be more open to as a parent. I feel like it was very well. We grew up, learning manners all our lives. We grew up doing catechism in the church, so we grew up with all of these great things. And I feel like for me as a parent, I would ask more on what my kids would want. I don't know. I think that for me, my dad was a multi-sport athlete, so I kind of grew into growing up around him coaching his baseball team, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna play, and then kind of just went into it. I enjoy and love it, but my sister, on the other hand, felt like she was kind of forced to play sometimes, and I want my kids to think that they're any less than who they are, which I'm not saying that we do, but definitely ask more questions upon, like, would you like to do this? Would you like to be a part of a sports team and stuff like that? But I definitely would raise them the same way my parents raised us. It was a very good childhood and life growing up, for sure.
I would raise my kids the same, just a little bit different. A little bit more on the communication, just having the ability to talk and just sit down and talk about anything. I mean, I've always been that way with my parents, but uh, some of my styles would be a little bit different, but it's still similar. Just have that discipline. Everybody has that discipline at an early age. The ideas of hard work, um, patience, love, understanding. So very similar in ways, but it'll be different because it's coming from me.
So you mentioned a little bit about your siblings, but how many siblings do you have, and do they play any sports?
I have a younger sister and a younger brother. My sister is 16 and she does track and field, and my brother is 14 and he plays baseball.
I have a total of 8 siblings, 7 siblings plus me. I have two other siblings with we have the same mom. And for the majority, all of us have played sports, cheer to gymnastics, football, baseball, basketball, all that, cross country. So every all big sports family, and just thankful for to have all of them in my life.
I have two older siblings. They're both girls, and they played sports, but then after they just quit.
I have one younger sibling. We're 5 years apart, and she used to play softball, but she just recently quit due to an injury. She started playing basketball in high school. She's a junior in high school now. She actually just tried volleyball for the first time, and she really enjoyed it. But we both grew up playing multiple sports our whole lives, so.
Is therapy looked down upon in your family or culture?
I don't think so. I mean, I've never really talked about it with my parents, but I think if I want to go to therapy, I don't think they would have an issue with it. I think they would just want what's best for me, or what would help me and benefit me.
I don't know, but I wouldn't think so because my parents just want me to be happy in life.
I don't think it has. For me, culture-wise, is seen in the Catholic Church for me and my family, and how we grew up. You were known to talk to the fathers that were there. I think it's ever been looked down. I think it's always been looked up to, especially because parents a lot of the time don't really know the right thing to say to their kids in some situations. So I think that my parents understand that 100%.
Yes and no. For my family, our therapy was always just kind of sports as an outlet, going to work out, prayer, big faith-based family. And that's kind of for my family more so. It was just big on sports and faith. As a culture, for many Black people, as men, therapy is frowned upon because you're supposed to be viewed as this very stoic individual and nothing's supposed to faze you. But for women, it's a lot more acceptable. And I find that's just across society, but I know specifically in the Black culture, it is very much like that. In my family that I know of, I've never went to therapy. None of my parents or family members that I could think of. It was just always kind of, you get over it because it's life and you just grow from there.
So in my close, my immediate family, no. I'll say my mom goes to therapy, and my cousins had to go to therapy because of their family and whatnot. But other than that, the further it is, my grandparents and other uncles, they definitely it's a bad word. It's not something good.
And do you know anyone close to you that has experience with substance abuse?
No.
Yes, I can think of 3 different people.
No.
I had a couple teammates. I had a couple family members. I mean, there are people around everywhere that I have that I have a close relationship with that have substance abuse. It kind of affected them in that process, but I mean, towards the end, it came out better and have a better, positive life now.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you value access to resources like mental help, substance abuse help, stuff like that?
Yes, I think they are important to have, but my family never really like needed that, so.
I feel like it's really important, especially like if I were to know someone who had an issue with substance abuse or mental health issues, I want them to have like full access to feel like they have somewhere they can go to feel better, vent, or just, try and better themselves. So I feel like it's important for people to have that option.
I think it's really important, and like people should like actually think about going to it. I know one person, they didn't want to like go to rehab or whatnot. Like they thought it was like really bad, and they didn't want to like deal with it after. I'm like, it's there for you, you know, so you can like get help. And then the other two, I know that they're going through rehab right now.
I would say it's very important. I would say a 9. Some people, they need that extra help, that extra support. I would say overall, that mental health, that support from clinics, programs is very useful, and I would support it very much.
I think I value it like 10 out of 10, 100%. If you use those resources the right way, it can be worth your benefit, and it would be very positive for you as a person. I know a lot of people who use that and they don't really take it seriously, and they're like, oh, well, my parents say I should go, so I go. I think it also just depends on how you use that. But I think for me, at least in my experiences, it's 100% been beneficial. So 10 out of 10 for sure. I definitely value those.
Do you find it valuable to see people that reflect your beliefs being shown in a positive way on TV or on the internet?
It gives you a moment, like, and I feel kind of surreal, I guess. Wow, like I see that, like, oh wow, like I totally understand that. I think it's kind of really cool. I get, if I see something like that, I get really into depth about it, and then I'll end up doing research on it, or on that person per se. So I think 100% I'm very like more focused and into what it is that that person may be talking about.
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone deserves to like be shown in a good spot. Like obviously there's going to be instances where like people with my beliefs are like frowned upon in the media, but it's politics. You get that no matter what or who you support.
Yes, I will definitely say that like when I see somebody that does something like I do or think, and it's like looked good upon, I'm like, okay, like I feel safe with it. Like, okay, like they feel it too, and like it's going good.
It's a very, very good thing to see. In this world today, a lot of things, right is wrong and wrong is right. But when you come across influencers or content creators and they're speaking messages about faith, about the Lord, about work ethic, it does help yourself internally with feeling kind of that justification, that reassurance at times a little bit. Just help you just to keep pushing, knowing that there's somebody else out there that views certain things the way that you do.
Yeah, it definitely gives me something to relate to and feel comfortable in my situations.
And how do you feel whenever someone who does reflect your beliefs, when they're shown in a negative way?
And it kind of like makes me rethink about my belief. Like, should I have it, or like should I change it and stuff?
I think that we can't really control people's opinions, so I'll have these questions in my head. Well, what's the reason that they think this instead of this, when that's what we've communicated and preached as, say, a Catholic or something. I'm never really kind of like, oh, I don't like you because you don't think like I do kind of situation. But everybody has their own personal opinions on different things, and that's okay by me, 100%.
A lot of times, to put that idea down for myself, just my walk, just believing in the Lord Jesus Christ. Many people try to bash followers or believers of Christ. They expect, that everybody, you should be perfect because you believe in God. When in reality, nobody is perfect, but it's just striving every day, taking up your cross daily, and keeping Him first. And so when you see that on social media or TV kind of mocking it does kind of rub me the wrong way. But I understand, because they mocked Jesus when He was here, so they definitely are going to mock others that follow Him.
I feel like it can be a little frustrating, but then it's like at the end of the day, it's the media, so the other side's going to do anything that they can to make themselves look better. So it doesn't really make me that mad.
It'll probably affect me negatively because I wouldn't feel comfortable like believing what I believe in.
We're going to change gears to talk about finances. Did your parents ever show concerns over finances when it came to you going to college?
No.
No.
No, they didn't want to make it like a big deal, but I always knew, like, since a young age, like, we weren't like the wealthiest family, like, we were like, okay, but there were times, like, many times that we did struggle, so, like, in the back of my mind, I always kept that in my head when, like, picking colleges.
No, they finances in the sense of how to budget and manage my money, but not having to pay for college. I was blessed to receive an athletic scholarship, so I didn't have to pay for college. But when I would get stipends or checks from the school, they would talk to me about how to manage it and teach me how to use it. Saying that aspect about the management of my money, yes, they did, but having to worry about for school, that wasn't an issue.
So before college, not really, like kind of, okay, well, you're a great athlete, you're gonna get a full ride scholarship because, you know, kind of jokingly, we don't have enough to, so it was kind of like, okay, but it really never pressed me. I was just still myself. And then I ended up at my other school getting a full ride, so it kind of worked in my favor and my parents' favor. When I transferred here, things were just a little bit different finance-wise. Beforehand, we didn't have to worry about anything. So I think, I wouldn't say a problem, but definitely a difference compared to where I came from.
And did either of your parents attend college and graduate?
Yes, they both attended and graduated.
No.
My mom she had her associate's degree from UAB. My dad did some junior college, but just ended up working right after.
My dad is a college graduate. My mom didn't finish, but my dad is a college graduate. He was a student athlete. He went to Stanislaus State and he played baseball.
And what is one thing that has stuck with you about how your parents handle their finances?
One thing that has stuck with me, my dad is a very good businessman. He knows how to use his money correctly and properly, how to manage and budget and move with it. My mom, she the same way, but they both are good with their money and have a good understanding of taxes and management, budgeting, investing, all of such.
They definitely plan very far ahead into the future.
Honestly, I wouldn't say like my parents are very like, honestly, they're not very like money wise. I don't know, it's more like memories. Like they would spend money on like things that we can make a lot of memories, and like they were like okay to, you know, like use money for like experiences that we can have instead of like saving up money. So like I definitely like now will think about it. I'm like, okay, well, like if it's like for the memory, like yeah, like let's go do something, you know.
Well, my parents, like, growing up, they never talked about their finances. They kept it very private. And, like, even when, like, my brother and I would ask questions when we were younger, they would kind of just be like, it's not really any of your business. Because I think they never wanted us, in a sense, to worry. And also, like, I mean, they're just really private about, like, their money and their finances.
To be honest, I ask a lot of questions, and my mom sometimes refuses to explain things because it makes her own. Everything that she does tell me comes into play with thinking about my future and what I need to do for my future when it comes to things like paying loans back or saving a specific amount of money, and you know, when I am paying loans back, how much I'm putting in monthly to do so. So I think initially just financially wise, just kind of saving money and using it correctly, not just using it for fast food every day or something like that. So definitely just the saving piece for sure.
And what's a financial practice that you've adopted since being in college?
Before I would like feel like I would use a lot of money on food, but now I feel like I'm old enough now like that I can cook or like use a good snack, or I'll think to myself like, do I really need this? You know, like I could use this money like again for like food or something. So that's one thing.
Definitely only going out once a week, so I don't spend that much money.
One financial practice, my first one is tithing for the Lord. So just whatever I make, giving my first 10% of my check to the Lord, and then pay my rent. And after that, that money that I have left over, I budget it off for groceries. And then that's kind of usually what I do. Sometimes if I get an extra little check here and there, I'll put it up into my savings. So in my mind is if it's up closer to 10, put it up. If it's down below 10, you just spend it. So that's kind of my mindset when I use my money.
And what pressures, if any, do you feel about the career you've chosen?
I feel like it's more like I went into the kines route to like have like my foot in like the medical field so I can make a lot of money, but like it's more like, do I either choose what I want to be or like do I choose what I get more money out of? So it's like kind of like that.
And do you feel like you consult your parents about, what you should pick, or has it been just all on you?
I mean, I definitely talk to them about it, but then again, in the back of my mind, it's like, I know it's like what I want, and like sometimes I feel like they could have like different ideas for me that I don't really want. So it's like kind of just like a thought to have, but it's definitely not like an initial thing I would do.
I definitely need to hit all my prerequisites for the graduate school I want to go into, so I just have to worry about that.
I think that the career I'm going for as a preschool teacher, they get paid a lot lower than normal high school teachers or middle school teachers. It's kind of slightly a stressor just because, I don't want to be one that can be a preschool teacher and still lives at home with my family and my parents. I think just financially being able to stay stable at the same time with my career.
There's not pressure at all because this is what I'm supposed to do. I like working with children, understanding the effects of family, society, community, how it affects the outcome of that child's life. So for myself, being a child at one point and speaking to other children, it's not pressure. There's no stress involved in it. It's just doing what I'm supposed to do.
And did your parents encourage your sports career?
Yes, my parents definitely impacted my sports career. There was definitely times where I was close to quitting, but then after they pushed me forward to keep going through it, and I'm grateful for that.
100%. My parents, they were always very supportive of whatever sport I did or even doing karate as a young kid. So everything I did athletically, my parents supported it and they just put me into a position for me to succeed, and still now very, very supportive of me playing football in college. So just very thankful to have them in my life.
My parents definitely supported my sports career. They're the whole reason why I just like playing the sport.
And do you ever feel any sort of anxiety when you're participating in social outings?
I get anxiety when I'm with people who I don't know, or with like a lot of people who just aren't like my type of people. Then it gives me a lot of anxiety because I don't know what to do with myself.
And where do you think that comes from?
I honestly don't know. I think it just comes from like me growing up and like always staying like with my close family and like my friends, and like I didn't really want to go out of my circle, so like I either rather be completely alone or like with people that I know, not with people I don't know.
I think if I'm with like a social group of people and I get put into a group of people I don't really know, in the beginning I kind of have social anxiety, but I can talk to anyone within 2 seconds of meeting them and get to know them and love to do so and would like do anything, whatever activity it may be. I don't find it very tough, just maybe in the beginning, but I'm a very social person, so I think it's been known that I'm kind of like that since I was about 10 years old.
I would say younger, I felt a little anxiety, just not having that confidence yet. But now that I'm older, just understanding myself more, walking more with the Lord, doing the right things, I'm a lot more comfortable in social areas. Just being a black male, you already have a lot of stigmatisms against you. And so you almost have to prepare double to fit in with those 1% crowds or predominantly white institutions or areas. What I've learned though over time is just being yourself and being true to you, regardless of wherever your background is, that will help propel you forward in life. So for myself now, I'm a lot more confident in who I am and understand my focus, my passion, and the Lord being my why.
Yes.
And where do you think that stems from?
I'm just not a very people person, so I like my alone time.
All I want is for people to feel comfortable enough to share their truth, for the way it happened for them. Oftentimes, people are robbed of many things in their life, and one thing I will never do is rob anyone of their voice. This has been such a gratifying experience for me. I am very appreciative of all the people that I interviewed and them entrusting me to tell their story. Ultimately, our past is not our entire story. It is only a blueprint for how we want to build our futures up to be brighter and better. How will you continue to live your human experience? Thank you.